Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we are diving deep into a book that combines data science, behavioral finance, and actionable strategies to help you make better financial decisions. The book is Just Keep Buying, Proven Ways to Save Money and Build Your Wealth by Nick Maggiulli. Maggiulli is a data scientist and the chief operating officer at Ritholtz Wealth Management, and his unique perspective brings a refreshing, evidence-based approach to money management. Unlike many financial books that are rooted in abstract theory or motivational fluff, Just Keep Buying offers a practical, realistic, and deeply analytical look at how to build long-term wealth through consistent action. Maggiulli's guiding philosophy centers on one powerful, deceptively simple principle: consistency. The phrase, "just keep buying," isn't a marketing slogan, it's a distilled conclusion from years of rigorous analysis. At its core, this principle promotes the idea that regularly investing, regardless of the economic climate, is one of the most effective paths to building wealth. The brilliance of this strategy lies in its simplicity. It doesn't rely on market predictions, insider knowledge, or elaborate financial models. Instead, it harnesses the power of habits, automation, and the psychological stability that comes from sticking to a plan. Let's start by discussing the psychology behind saving, which is often misunderstood. Most people are introduced to saving with the idea that it involves sacrifice. Saving is presented as delaying gratification, resisting temptation, and cutting back on pleasures. While partially true, this framing often breeds resentment. Maggiulli offers a much healthier, empowering alternative. Rather than thinking about how much to save, he encourages asking how much one can responsibly spend. This change in perspective reorients saving from a restrictive act to an intentional lifestyle choice. The psychology of consumption plays a significant role here. Behavioral studies show that people are much more successful with financial plans when they don't feel punished by them. Maggiulli suggests setting up guardrails rather than enforcing strict budgets. For instance, using percentage-based rules, such as allocating 30% of your income for wants, can be more sustainable than detailed line-item budgets. This also aligns with broader behavioral research that shows the more flexible a plan is, the more likely people are to stick with it long-term. Increasing income is another major pillar of the book. Maggiulli stresses that while cutting costs helps, there's a natural limit to how much you can save. On the other hand, increasing your income doesn't have such a ceiling. This insight is crucial, especially for younger individuals or those early in their careers. Maggiulli makes a compelling case, using longitudinal income data, that pursuing higher wages or side incomes can significantly accelerate wealth building. He explains how small increases in income, when combined with a high savings rate and consistent investing, can compound into extraordinary financial outcomes. One chapter that stands out challenges the conventional wisdom around emergency funds. Traditionally, financial planners recommend setting aside 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. While that may work for some, Maggiulli questions whether this is always optimal. He highlights the opportunity cost of parking large amounts of cash in low-interest accounts, especially when inflation is considered. For those with stable employment and access to credit, using revolving credit lines as a backup and keeping more capital invested can potentially lead to greater long-term returns. To be clear, he doesn't suggest abandoning caution, he urges readers to tailor their risk tolerance and liquidity needs thoughtfully, but he invites us to reconsider blanket advice that doesn't account for individual circumstances. A significant portion of Just Keep Buying focuses on investing, and this is where Maggiulli's data-driven background really shines. He offers a sobering look at market timing and demonstrates, through multiple studies, that even seasoned professionals often underperform when trying to beat the market. He lays out the data plainly. Those who attempt to time their entries and exits from the market often miss out on the biggest gains, which typically come in short, unpredictable bursts. One particularly enlightening study shows that missing just a few of the best-performing days in the market can drastically reduce overall returns. Dollar cost averaging, DCA, is a strategy Maggiulli champions with ample supporting evidence. DCA involves investing a fixed amount at regular intervals, regardless of market price. This approach minimizes emotional decision-making, smooths out volatility, and prevents paralysis during market downturns. Maggiulli contrasts this with lump sum investing, noting that while lump sums statistically outperform in certain conditions, DCA often wins behaviorally. People are more likely to stick with it, especially during volatile periods. In discussing portfolio construction, Maggiulli strips away the complexity that often intimidates new investors. He advocates for broad diversification, primarily using low-cost index funds. His recommended asset allocation is simple but effective. Younger investors should favor equities for their growth potential, while older investors might shift toward bonds to reduce risk. Yet, he emphasizes personalization. Your allocation should reflect your goals, risk tolerance, and life stage. He cautions against obsessing over the perfect mix, noting that consistency and behavior matter more than marginal gains from optimization. Another fascinating section of the book deals with the economics of homeownership. This is a sacred cow in many cultures, where buying a house is seen as a rite of passage and the ultimate financial goal. Maggiulli takes a critical look at this assumption. Using historical price appreciation data and factoring in maintenance costs, taxes, and transaction fees, he shows that homeownership is not always the superior financial decision. In fact, renting and investing the difference can sometimes yield better outcomes. He's not anti-homeownership, but pro-context. His message is clear: make housing decisions based on your lifestyle, mobility, and financial goals, not outdated societal norms. As we delve further into the book, Maggiulli addresses common fears associated with investing, especially the fear of loss. The fear of watching your portfolio shrink during a downturn can be paralyzing. Maggiulli doesn't dismiss this fear. Instead, he provides historical perspective. Markets have crashed before, and they will again. But in every case, long-term investors who kept buying came out ahead. He presents case studies from the Great Depression, the 2000 dot-com bubble, and the 2008 financial crisis, all of which illustrate the resilience of markets. He encourages readers to reframe volatility as opportunity. Market downturns are when stocks go on sale. Another strength of the book lies in its discussion of financial freedom. Maggiulli defines this not as a number or a fixed endpoint, but as the ability to make decisions based on what you value most. Whether that's retiring early, traveling, starting a business, or simply feeling secure, financial freedom is about options. To reach that point, you need a plan that aligns with your goals, habits that support that plan, and the discipline to execute consistently. He emphasizes that the journey to financial independence is deeply personal, and there's no one-size-fits-all path. Maggiulli concludes with perhaps his most important message: wealth isn't built in moments of brilliance, but through long-term habits. People often search for the perfect investment or a hidden trick, but the true key lies in automation and discipline. Setting up systems, automated contributions to savings and investments, scheduled check-ins, and rebalancing removes decision fatigue and emotional bias. He urges readers to stop chasing perfection and start focusing on consistency. Ultimately, Just Keep Buying is a data-backed, accessible guide that redefines how we think about personal finance. It demystifies saving, debunks myths about investing, and reorients our thinking around behavior, not brilliance. The book is a refreshing departure from the fear-driven, anecdote-heavy financial literature that dominates the market. Instead, it offers clarity, calm, and confidence for anyone looking to take control of their financial life. If you're looking to make smarter money decisions grounded in data and designed for the real world, this book is a must-read. And as the title says, no matter where you are on your journey, just keep buying.